Right now, maybe your messaging just sounds like every other clinic out there, that you don't feel like you're standing out at all and you don't feel like you've found your own voice. Maybe it's because you are doing the exact same as everyone else, or maybe you don't even have control of it. But in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how we can completely change that and how we can be magnetic to your right ideal client. And even if you're working with an agency right now, how we can completely change that. If you don't know me, my name's Elliot and I work with over 250 clinic owners around the world to give them a plug and play meta ad framework so they can start getting 5 or more new clients every single week without using an agency, without guessing. So first of all, I just want to go over what a lot of clinics typically do, which first off is they talk to everyone. They will say like, hey, local area, we can help with back pain, neck pain, headaches, migraine, sciatica, and just start listing everything out. Or every single post that they put out is a very generic post. So it'll be about, if you've got back pain, if you've got neck pain, if you've got headaches, then we may be able to help. Come into the clinic, give us a call today. And it's these very generic, very bland posts. It's just vanilla is probably the best way which I can put it. And I always say this is just like listing your menu. You're just listing everything out rather than actually being specific by saying all the different symptoms that you can help with. The other side of that is I see that they end up just saying about the services that they deliver, whether it's physiotherapy, chiropractic, osteopathy, anything like that. But they then start talking about their specific adjustment techniques, or they start talking about how they've got a decompression table, or they're talking about all these other things which most of the time your clients have no idea what that actually is. So what is the message that we are trying to get across? And then finally, it's how the message is delivered. Because people, when they are looking at an ad which pops up on their phone, or they're scrolling social media and then your post pops up, if we think of the typical ad, which is where someone goes, hey, local area, we can help with. But if you imagine, how does that come across when someone is reading that? Because we typically would read that in our heads, right? So we're going to say, like, in our heads, we're going to go, hey, Winchester, and that's how you read it, which comes across very unnatural. This then comes to the frame which we're going to change this all to make it feel far more natural and be far more compelling to your ideal clients. Because when we go back and look at each of those things, so if you talk to everyone, you end up talking to no one. That's old as time, a marketing thing. You don't even need to be a marketer to know that. That when you are trying to be very generic, you end up being bland and blending in, and therefore you don't attract anyone in. And I understand that people will then say, but we can help with everyone. That's why we end up doing a lot of different marketing messages to speak to each different type of person that we can actually help with. So then when you do start listing everything out and shouting out all the different symptoms that you can help, or all the different services that you can actually help and deliver that with, I always say that this is like a restaurant standing on a street corner and shouting out their menu and then hoping someone's hungry, which sounds absolutely ridiculous when you put it in that frame. But when you think of it on, if we see these ads, which is, hey, local area, we can help with back pain, neck pain, headaches, migraine, sciatica, it's exactly the same thing, which again, it's just too enthusiastic. And it's just like someone screaming in your face going, hey, come in, like, we can help with back pain, neck pain, headaches, migraine, and just start listing everything. And again, it doesn't make sense when we put it in like that ridiculous type of frame. But before I go on to then how we can change this and what the difference is, if you want my help to just get this whole system just to install in your clinic so you can get these 5 new clients every single week without an agency or guesswork, then just go to the link in the description and I'll be able to help you out with that. Now, how do we change it is the crucial part. And this is where it comes to what I call moment marketing, because we need to market to a moment when someone feels deep emotion and deep pain from that. And that's going to be many different things. So instead of going generic and lots of different symptoms, we're going to go specific to one moment. And that could be one symptom, such as back pain. But people don't go, I have back pain. It's the emotion tied to that back pain which causes them to do something about it. Let me explain. So, and it's that moment that we market to. So for example, I'll give you a couple of examples. let's say this is a new mother, their baby is crying in the cot, and she picks it up and she's there holding it, trying to rock it, but her back is absolute agony, that she feels deep sadness and deep, I don't know the other emotion really that you'd put with that she has to put her baby down, even though the baby is crying, because she can't soothe her baby because her back is just absolutely killing her. Or she then has to go and wake up her partner, who's then got to be up early for work. It's that moment that we market to. The same on the flip side. So say you're a women's health physio, then what is the moment we market to? We're not marketing pelvic floor health. We are marketing the embarrassment of someone having to run out of a gym class when their personal trainer says to do jump squats. Or the embarrassment when they say their kids want them to jump on the trampoline with them, but they can't because they know they're going to get leakage or wet themselves. That's the moment that we need to market to. So then this comes to how we deliver that message, and this is why I call it the best friend technique. Because all you need to be doing is, much like I'm talking to you, talk to them like you are talking to a best friend. Because if someone was to come into your clinic in the way in which you would previously market, or how generally people do their messaging, which is, hey, look, where we can help with back pain, neck pain, headaches, migraine, sciatica. Just imagine someone coming into your clinic. If someone came up to me and they were like, hey, Elliot, have you been dealing with back pain, neck pain, headaches, migraines, or sciatica? I'd be like, whoa, this is so much. But if your best friend, you knew that they'd just had a baby and that they were dealing with back pain, and they came into your clinic, you'd go, hey mate, how's your back? It's really simple. Of course, we're not going to say, hey mate, how's your back in any ads, but we are just going to market to that one moment that someone is dealing with that issue. And I always say this is like, if someone comes up to you in the gym, and you know what it's like whether you're at school drop off or you're in the gym, someone finds out you're a chiropractor, a physio, they're like, hey doc, I've had this shoulder problem for ages. And then they start going on, and you're just discovering more about them, because they've almost in that instant become a friend, and you're just trying to help them out. That's the type of messaging that we want to come across. It's a real simple process, rather than it being this big blown out thing like what people typically do, which is that, hey look, where we can help with back pain. And like I said, it just sounds absolutely ridiculous when we actually go through it. But if we think about how we speak to a best friend, that's how we market the clinic. So how do you start with that? All we do, and this is my thing which I say through any marketing that I do with the hundreds of clinics that I work with around the world, is we focus on one ad with one problem. And that one problem can be the symptom, or it can be the moment that we're actually marketing to. So we've got a bunch of women's health physios, and they market to a particular moment, whether that's going on a run, playing with their kids on the trampoline, whatever else it is. Or it could be back pain, picking your kids up from the crib. It could be back pain when you're getting out the car and you feel like you've aged 50 years. That's the moment that we need to market to. So if you can get your messages across by doing that instead, and this is where you can test it organically through the content that you put out, that's when you can become far more magnetic and compelling, because we're speaking to one problem about the one issue that they are dealing with. And that issue is an emotional attachment to a physical pain that they are implementing or feeling right now. So if you want my help to go through any of this and just get the script so you can use this straight away, just go to the link in the description and I'll be able to help you out in there.